A top Wall Street analyst, Dan Ives, says, "We were dead wrong expecting Musk and the team to step up like adults in the room and give a strategic and financial overview of the ongoing price cuts, margin structure, and fluctuating demand. Instead, we got a high-level view with another train wreck conference call for the street, cutting the price target to $315. From $350? How does Tesla dare to think long term? I am betting with my whole stock portfolio in Tesla stock that today is a huge buying opportunity if one is willing to hold Tesla stock for 5 to 10 years. And look, Gary Black criticizes Tesla a lot and he cares so much about the short term. He does care about long term too, but I think he does care more about short term and medium term. And look what he's saying. Q4 results were better than expected. But management's decision to not provide 2024 production guidance and uncertainty about Tesla's 2024 pricing philosophy and tax rate will likely cause further weakness, which happened. And check out this post from yesterday. According to Gary Black, automotive gross margin excluding regulatory credits is the most important metric we should be watching in Tesla's earnings. Troy estimated 15.7%, Gary Black 16.1%, Wall Street 16.7%. The actual number was 17.2%, and Gary says that this is a sign that gross margins have bottomed. But Elon's negative comments about high interest rates and car payments being too high will cause more pricing uncertainty, so potentially more price cuts. Elon suggested that the next generation vehicle will enter production in late 2025 in Austin, and he indicated that Optimus Bot first deliveries could also begin in 2025. But generally, this is the reaction from most people. Guys, let me be clear. 0 Optimus shipments next year. The way I think about Optimus is Tesla is an extremely innovative company, especially if Elon stays at Tesla for a long time. There will be products in the future that Tesla will work on that right now we have no idea about. Some of them will fail, some of them will succeed wildly. Optimus could be one of those that succeeds. And I think Kevin here nailed it. In the near term, Tesla stock is merely a call option on interest rates, meaning if interest rates go up, Tesla stock down. If interest rates go down, Tesla stock up. In the long term, Tesla stock is a call option on the future. And if you are optimistic about the future, why wouldn't you be optimistic about Tesla then? Dojo could be another one of those things. Now, I don't really put Dojo in my Tesla valuation model. I think there is a chance that it will succeed in a big way, but Elon did admit on the earnings call that it's a long shot. But keep in mind, Elon says the odds of success are low for many of his ambitious ventures, but they eventually succeed anyway. Tesla was one of them. And I stayed away from Tesla until early 2019 because I agreed with Elon. I did not really the main thing for me is my risk tolerance is not exactly very high. And if I don't see the company making profits, if I think that there's a very good chance of the company going bankrupt, or not even necessarily a great chance, but let's say a 10% chance that the company is going to go bankrupt, do I want to be all in that company? Probably not. But if I think that there's less than 1% chance that 10 years from now, I will lose money owning a stock, but at the same time having very high odds of the stock doubling, tripling, quadrupling, 5xing, Elon thinks that there's a good chance that Tesla will be the world's biggest company, which would make it bigger than Apple, which would make Tesla stock more than 5x. And I don't think that the biggest company will stay just at $3 trillion in terms of the market cap. So that naturally implies a lot more than just the stock going up 5 times. And if Tesla really figures out full self-driving, and on top of that, if Tesla figures out Optimus, which Elon Musk seems to really believe in, if these two things happen, it would be hard to imagine how the stock would not more than 10x. So my logic goes, okay, I hold the stock for 10 years, less than 1% chance of me ending up with less money, but there's so much opportunity, and I'm betting on the world's smartest, most talented engineer with an incredible track record of doing the impossible over and over and over and over again. Now, I personally think that one of the best things that can ever happen to a man is to be deeply in love with a woman. And almost every such man will be familiar with astrology. So let's talk stock astrology. This is a moving average, and generally speaking, every time Tesla stock drops below that moving average, it has turned out to be a great idea to buy it, especially if it drops about 30% below that moving average. And currently 30% below the moving average would be $153 per share. And that's one of the ways that I use to determine, is Tesla stock right now, based on the sentiment and based on what traders think, is it a big discount in the short term? We're getting there. We are not quite fully there, but we are getting there. And of course, I am buying Tesla stock. Oh, but man, I am not buying anymore. I am all in already. I cannot buy anymore. This stock sucks. If you buy Tesla stock and you have not held the stock for 6.4 years yet, why are you complaining? Literally, just looking at Tesla's history, there was a period of about 5-ish years where you could have bought Tesla stock and then lost money 5 years later. And some people sold. And they missed out on 10x gains. So if I have a strategy and I am executing based on that strategy, I do not want to change that strategy in the middle of it because the market feels a certain way. Now, mind you, when I say I believe there's less than 1% chance of me losing money being in Tesla stock in the next roughly 10 years, it does not mean that losing money is impossible. I literally mean there's a less than 1% chance of that happening. It is not impossible. And in my case, if I could find another company where I found the same odds, I would then just buy 100 companies like that. But I don't think that exists. And my background is being an entrepreneur. And when you start a company, you face incredible risk. I have never started a company with a chance of failure being less than 1%. The risk is always 5%, 10%, maybe 20%. But if the numbers make sense, then it makes sense to follow the numbers. Is Tesla going to release the next generation vehicle? Yes. Is that vehicle going to crush the competition? Absolutely. Is it possible that that project may be delayed? Has every single project by Tesla, has it been delayed? Well, I would keep my expectations in line with what happened before. And despite these delays in the past, did Tesla still annihilate many of the expectations that, for example, the Tesla bears had? Absolutely. Is the world going towards EVs? Yes. Which means naturally, even if Tesla doesn't really do much, growth will still be enormous. Currently, everyone is looking at 2024 volume, and there's no guidance from Tesla right now on the volume or margins, which is what Gary Black believes is driving the stock down today. Currently, the consensus for 2024 is 17% growth in terms of deliveries, and Tesla's management refused to close the door on future price cuts on the conference call yesterday, which to me indicates if Tesla changes its strategy a little bit and just goes really deep with advertising and gets really innovative with it, there are going to be a lot more sales and the stock is likely to go up. And Tesla did talk about advertising a little bit on the call. Now, specifically on 2024 guidance, this is what Tesla said. Our company is currently between two major growth waves. The first one began with the global expansion of the Model 3 and Y platform, and the next one we believe will be initiated by the global expansion of the next generation vehicle platform. In 2024, our vehicle volume growth rate may be notably lower than the growth rate achieved in 2023 as our teams work on the launch of the next generation vehicle at Gigafactory Texas in 2024. The growth rate of deployments and revenue in our energy storage business should outpace the automotive business. That business is not going to be valued highly until the actual revenues will be really high. It's going to get there, but it's going to take some time. Tesla, by the way, has 2.35 million in annual installed production capacity. If Tesla produces that many vehicles and deliveries are good, it's possible for Tesla to grow 30% year over year, but I don't think that Tesla is quite expecting that in 2024. I will be updating my Tesla valuation model on Patreon. If you are inside, then you know that I have been always expecting less than 30% growth for Tesla volume in 2024. So seeing these lower expectations from Tesla is not surprising to me at all. Tesla said that in Q3, our global production reached a record annualized run rate of nearly 2 million vehicles in Q4. And Tesla is focused on bringing the next generation platform to market as quickly as possible with the plan to start production in Gigafactory Texas. This platform will revolutionize how vehicles are manufactured. Big words. And I think Tesla is talking about the Cybertruck Foundation series here, which would be good news. If the trend continues, we will soon sell out all the builds in 2024. We could raise the price even more, but that does not feel right. Demand is off the hook for the Cybertruck, for the Foundation series Cybertruck. And Elon said that FSD Beta V12 will roll out to 400,000 cars in North America in the next few weeks, and I should be one of these people as well. So I'm really looking forward to giving you all an update about FSD V12 based on my experience. In the long term, I remain very bullish about Tesla's FSD. In my timeline for when Tesla will solve full self-driving completely, meaning it's safer than human driving, has not changed in the last 2 years. I'm still sticking to some time before 2030 ends. But V12 architecture could potentially speed this up by quite a bit. And I'll be happy with that if that does happen. Specifically on the Tesla body, Elon Musk said that Tesla could start shipping some Optimus Tesla bot units in 2025, but he emphasized things could change and these things are tough to predict. So if I had to guess, I would guess that in 2025 we will not see Tesla bot Optimus because usually Elon is late. But if you keep betting against Elon every single time, you will often be right more often than not. But if you actually bet money on these predictions, in the end, you will end up losing everything. Because when something works, it doesn't just work. It's revolutionary. I know it's really tempting to say there's no way Elon is right about this one, and most likely he's not right about this one. But if he is, and eventually I believe he will be, but that could take quite some time, with the Optimus bot. Assuming that Elon stays at Tesla and he gets that new compensation package, which increases his control of Tesla to about 25% of Tesla's voting shares, I believe if that happens that Elon Musk eventually will make the Tesla Optimus bot work. I'm not putting any timelines on it. It's one of those things that I think could take quite a long time, but I'm planning to hold Tesla stock for 10 years or more. And I think 10 years from now, the Tesla bot will be reflected in Tesla's stock price, at least to some degree. And if it's not going to be the bot, then it's going to be something else that Tesla will come up with. Elon himself said on X a few days ago, I think, that Tesla is not just one company. It consists of a dozen startups. And here's something to look forward to, or sort of not really, because then Wall Street will start figuring this out. Tesla will start adding energy volumes on their quarterly delivery reports starting in Q1. So here you go. That's a huge Tesla stock catalyst coming up. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, Tesla's energy business will have a substantial impact on Tesla's stock. And here we got some really good news. Tesla says that the Cybertruck ramp is not limited by 4680 output to date. 4680 production is ahead of the ramp with weeks of finished cells in inventory, and the goal is to keep it that way. That is big news. Now, of course, there's a flip side to this potentially, and that would be, the Cybertruck is ramping so slowly that there are too many 4680 batteries. But Tesla can put these 4680 batteries into other cars and then get the full $7,500 rebate from the government. So you can see this as a negative or as a positive. I see it as a positive as of this moment. That could change though. And Tesla is definitely working on ramping these 4680 cells. Tesla's EPS came in at 71 cents per share. The Wall Street consensus was at 73 cents per share. So some say it's basically in line with expectations. Some say it's slightly below. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 2 cents will not matter. Here is Tesla's data advantage in one chart. This is cumulative miles driven with FSD beta. And if V12 is really as smooth as it seems, I think these miles driven here are going to start increasing exponentially. Because to me, one of the biggest problems with FSD is when it works great. But when it disengages, it's a bit dramatic how it does it. If you have anyone in your vehicle, which I often do, it makes you look like a really bad driver because it's rather abrupt. I don't mind disengagements if they are smooth. So with V11, I generally don't use FSD if I go to any place where I haven't been. I only use it where I know how it's going to react. Unless I'm just driving by myself and I don't mind annoying other people in other cars. Speaking of energy deployments, Tesla expects these to be volatile and lumpy, but it expects growth on a trailing 12-month basis going forward. Yeah, the energy business looks good. Revenue is up 54% year over year. And Tesla's energy generation and storage business profits nearly quadrupled in 2023. Now let's talk about what Tesla said about advertising, because this could significantly explode Tesla stock at any time if Tesla really decides to focus on it. And Tesla gave us some pretty good insights here. We are aware there is an awareness issue. The targeted campaigns we have done have been to drive awareness. One awareness campaign we ran reached about 10 million unique viewers, 500,000 new visitors to Tesla's website from that campaign. Okay, it depends on, I'm wondering which campaign they are talking about. Is that the YouTube ad campaign? Which campaign is it? But I ran YouTube ads before and a 5% click-through rate. That's actually pretty good. Tesla gave us more info on the ads. On the demand front, we made investments in educational campaigns in 2023. We fully appreciate the importance of customer education. Our data suggests 90% of vehicle buyers in 2023 never owned a Tesla before. We are being creative in figuring out ways to bring in new customers and educating them on the vehicles of owning a Tesla versus gas vehicles. Omar says that it sounds like Tom Zhu is in charge of Tesla advertising. Ross says, Tesla has no idea how to advertise. This is a huge issue. Time to put marketing people in charge. How about a real CMO, Chief Marketing Officer? Now, I personally think there are cases where an engineer can do a good job with advertising. For example, you put Elon in charge of advertising, I think Tesla will do okay. Because you look at Elon's feed and he has some real bangers there. I don't think YouTube would allow me to show that full picture, so I'm not going to, but it got a lot of attention. But most engineers, I don't think, would do great with ad campaigns. Elon says he will talk it over with the team about doing another AI day, but they are worried about competitors copying them. So if Tesla doesn't do another AI day, I'm totally fine with that. What matters to me as a long-term Tesla stock investor is, number one, that Elon pays attention to Tesla, which means I want that new compensation package to be done for Elon so that Elon does not feel that there is any disincentive for him not to focus on Tesla. I mean, clearly he thinks right now that there's a bit of a problem, and I don't want our leader to think, oh, there's a problem here for me, which makes me not want to pay as much attention to Tesla. And if Elon is paying attention to Tesla, then I am confident, extremely confident, that Tesla will do extremely well in the long term. Because then if something bad happens to Tesla, and if something really terribly horrible happens to Tesla, Elon just focuses on Tesla more. And he's a good manager when one of his companies goes through a big crisis. He knows how to handle crises. It's like having the Uno reverse card. No matter how bad it is, we can just turn it around, which makes me sleep well at night, owning so much Tesla stock. I just don't use any leverage. Tesla says that they delivered over 1.2 million Model Ys globally in 2023, so I think now we can officially say that the Model Y in 2023 was the world's best-selling vehicle. And that is pretty much all over the news. I expect many more news outlets to cover that. Some of this is still preliminary data, so it's not fully, completely, I guess, officially official yet, but it's pretty much official now. Tesla Model Y easily surpasses the Toyota RAV4 and the Toyota Corolla. Now, Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley did not cut his Tesla stock price target. He reiterated his $345 price target, which offers over 80% upside from current levels, which we believe is compelling in proportion to the investment level within our US auto coverage. I think that makes Adam Jonas now the biggest Tesla stock bull on the street now that Dan Ives has cut his Tesla stock price target. And here are some final thoughts from Adam Jonas. The bottom line is, for Tesla shares to perform from here, investors must expect 2024 to be a trough year for auto profitability, must have increased confidence in the introduction of new models, and must see tangible proof that the AI side of the story is bearing fruit. I think in the long term, Tesla will figure out advertising. That means if this is not a trough year somehow for Tesla, it will happen later on. And when it does, I believe Tesla's orders, Tesla's deliveries, Tesla's production will continue to improve significantly. And even if Tesla does not figure out advertising before the next generation vehicle comes out, Tesla will sell so many of these next generation vehicles that it won't really matter all that much. So Tesla has a long time really to figure out advertising. So if the next generation vehicle launches in 2 years and it takes a few more years to scale, we're looking at 4 to 5, 6 years for Tesla to really figure out advertising. When it comes to predicting Tesla's earnings, James actually has been the most accurate Tesla stock retail analyst. Good job. And that's one reason why I include what he says so often. Finally, upgraded Tesla Model 3 demo drives are available in Canada. I'm gonna go check it out. I'll probably try to do it this weekend or next week. Some Tesla stock bulls have this point of view with which I somewhat strongly disagree. Elon Musk said many calls ago they have bet the entire company on autonomy. As they continue to not solve FSD, the stock will keep dropping until they do, and then it doesn't. It's that simple. If Tesla goes really hard with advertising, demand will increase by a lot. Deliveries would then increase, and maybe even prices would increase. All of that would certainly drive the stock higher. So I don't think it's that simple. I think there are many more things that Tesla could do. And when everyone finally sees the next generation vehicle, the stock could also rally by quite a bit as Tesla starts to ramp that vehicle. But speaking of FSD right now, no one wants to license the software from Tesla. Elon says, I don't think the competitors even think it's real. If I was a competitor, I would be calling it the smart move. Looking at the world of traders, I am still not a buyer of Tesla here. After this 40% crash, Tesla needs to drop another 50% to get me interested, says Gurgaman. Now, he said that on November 28th and December 11th. Tesla stock has dropped 24% since December 11th, but he still wants Tesla stock to drop another 50%. A lot of these traders, they just see a stock dropping and like, okay, I'm gonna wait for it to drop a bit more. Now that it dropped, I'm gonna wait for the stock to drop a bit more. Now that it dropped, I'm gonna wait for the stock to drop even more. And then they miss out. And by the way, let me be very, very clear. If you're buying Tesla stock right now, it's in the momentum is for the stock to drop more. And it can be very painful to buy a stock and then see the stock drop the next day and the next day after that and the next week and maybe even the next month. But it's much better than to keep hoping for it to drop more and then seeing it drop and then to hope to have the stock drop even more and then never buying in. Because one of these times the stock doesn't drop, it just goes up. Gary Black just updated his catalyst list. He has the Cybertruck halo effect as number 1, stable auto gross margins, $7,500 instant EV rebate, Model 3 Highland US launch, Fed's pivot on interest rates, which the market is expecting, FSD OEM licensing deal. He's still expecting that, even though Elon said that no one really is talking to Tesla. Tesla buyback. One day, Gary will be right, but I don't think that's likely to be in 2024. As Gary makes fun of anyone that believes in FSD, I guess I'll just point to the buybacks that Gary has been expecting for some time now, which have not happened. The next generation vehicle in 2025, and then Optimus deliveries starting in 2025. Gary did put that one here. If robots are the future, I think Tesla is so well positioned to take advantage of it that even if somehow Tesla manages to mess up, which I think is unlikely, Tesla will still make a lot of money from selling robots like the Optimus, because the market will just be so gigantic. Chicken Genius seems to reiterate his $69 Tesla stock price target. He didn't say it explicitly, but that's what I assume this means. He was wrong the last time. It did not go down to $69. I think it's extremely unlikely for Tesla stock to drop below $100. It's certainly possible, and if it does happen, I will be happily buying more. Also, a massive shout out goes to Troy. Troy predicted that Tesla produced 558,374 vehicles in Fremont, and Tesla revealed that it produced 560,000 vehicles. So Troy has been incredibly accurate with his estimates. Troy is doing a great job with these numbers. I think Jeff spoke some truth here. People are really struggling with how to value Tesla. Have some humility and realize everyone you are speaking with does not have the same 5-day or 10-year time horizon or risk tolerance that you may have. For example, I'm pretty young, so of course I will do things differently than someone who is 80 years old and is retired. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but not their own facts. Here's one fact. Tesla now has $29.1 billion in cash. That's a new record. Lots of emotions from this earnings call. Stay cool, stay calm, stay logical. Stick to your strategy. If you don't have one, then you should make one. Do not let emotions overtake you. It's fine to feel emotion, but take some time, think about it, let the emotions go away, and then if you want to do something, only then decide what you want to do next. Do not make big decisions when you are emotionally overwhelmed. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet.